News Radio KMAN weather.
42 degrees and sunny skies currently in Manhattan, with those winds to the south around 9 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of around 28, with those winds that could gust as high as 20 miles an hour to the south. On Tuesday, look to warm up a little bit as it will get a high near 65 and partly sunny, with those winds that could gust as high as 25 miles an hour to the southwest. Tuesday night, mostly cloudy with a low of around 33 and a high near 61 on Wednesday. Wildcat Insider up next on News Radio KMAN.
KMAN Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. This is Wildcat Insider with the Mercury sports editor Tim Everson and KMAN sports director Mitch Fortner.
Well, for Matthew Discolls, it was fun while it lasted. That win over Baylor, I will admit, it was a good time. I'm glad they got one. Second win in Big 12 play. They show up into Lubbock, Texas on Saturday. It was kind of like the Arizona game. They got within 10 or, very narrow double digits.
That was 10, yeah.
And then Texas Tech just runs wild without JT Toppin.
Immediately went on a 10-0 run.
Yeah. A lot of there were multiple double-digit runs in the game for Texas Tech to blow K-State out 100-72 the final. The K-State women on Saturday, man, it was just kind of it's just KU's year, playing the third youngest team in America. And the K-State women, they actually played tonight, by the way. That's why we're only with you until 5:30. I got to apologize if you heard me during the morning show. I believe I gave you the wrong tip time. It's actually a 6 o'clock tip-off in pregame at 5:30 against number 18 Baylor. That is tonight. It's also televised on ESPN2. So the K-State women getting a lot of national television exposure. So is the K-State men, by the way. That Texas Tech game was on Fox. I mean, the K-State men were certainly projected when the TV schedule was put together based on where they're playing nationally compared to just like an online-only broadcast like Peacock or ESPN Plus or whatever, that, the K-State men, their big games, this was going to be nationally televised. We were expecting some big games and not getting it over the TV. People, 1:30 on Fox is a great tip time. That's a great time slot. It's fantastic. I've noticed with college basketball, other than whatever the marquee game is, which people will just tune in and watch, if you're getting a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock game, and you're on Fox, you're on CBS, you're on ESPN, that's a phenomenal spot to be in, because you can definitely tell by if you watch the ratings and how they usually chart, people are getting burned out on college basketball as the day goes on. It doesn't stay consistent. Plus, not a lot of people watching college basketball during the regular season anyway. But the Cats lose. We'll talk about that. Plus, the K-State baseball team, they go 2-1 in Arlington, but they're not ranked, which it seems like that kind of got people a little bit out of shape. But they go 2-1, and they're owning the Big Ten right now.
They got a lot of wins, but wins against names of schools that you would recognize, but no impressive ranked wins or borderline. It seems like they've beaten a lot of mediocre schools, which is fine, and they've taken care of all of them.
If you beat Auburn, you may be ranked. You may. I would guess that K-State would be ranked right now. They are receiving votes. Here's the way I describe it. We'll talk baseball a little bit later on. But K-State has won against a bunch of teams that practice indoors during this time. There's a major difference when you're practicing baseball indoors compared to outdoors. K-State is certainly getting more outside time with this preseason, than Penn State and Michigan, and I don't know about Nebraska, but a lot of Big Ten country just recently had a big snowstorm. So that's obviously going to, if they're going straight home, they're back inside, not practicing, and that's a major advantage if you get to practice outside, especially for these cold states to when they start baseball season. Well, the coaching search obviously is going to ramp up. It was reported by Kellis Robinette from the Kansas City Star and Wichita Eagle that K-State is already receiving a ton of interest. We just don't know who exactly the candidates are. There are hot boards out there, a lot of reporting on the candidates that could be up for the job, including the surprise that I mentioned last week that Chris Beard is interested in coming back to the Big 12. But Tim will give us some names here that he has on his wish list for the K-State coaching search. Matthew Driscoll, like I mentioned, is 1-1 to start his interim run as the head coach here at K-State. Look, honestly, again, the results right now, I think it's fair to say they don't matter.
No.
I saw somebody bring it up on social media last week, like the big question is, so who of all these players, who stays for another year? And I was like, if I had to bet my money on either a name or names, or like I could only have one choice, like I had to get it exactly right and I win a lot of money, my bet would be that nobody stays to next year. Like it's going to be a complete rebuild. Even if a Taj Manning and a David Castillo, I truly love it here. Look, I think they've both done such a pretty solid job in their roles to be more valuable on the transfer portal market. I don't think anybody would really argue about that.
Right.
So, I don't know where that would land a Taj Manning.
Taj, I think you could legitimately see him finding a mid-major starting spot for sure if he wanted to do that. Perhaps at UMKC.
For David Castillo, I know he hasn't had very many great games here lately, but his just overall improvement from one year to the next, freshman to sophomore year, that's done him major great things. Like that's going to make him more money somewhere else. So with that coaching search on, I want to go back to a couple of pieces of audio here from the press conference after the Baylor game. So K-State last week, finally, they break that six-game losing streak to the Baylor Bears, 90-74. The losing streak was overall in Big 12 play. They do it against the Baylor Bears. I don't know if I talked about this when it happened, but Scott Drew was very entertaining during that game, but it wasn't like towards the referees. It was more towards his team. And I'd never seen a coach hit the scores table, like just kind of slap the padding. Dorian Buka did it after he threw away a rebound, and then I think, and then he went to try to go get it, and then the guy, whoever it was for Baylor, just bangs it off his leg and it goes out of bounds, and he slaps the scores, or the like where the some of the Gucci seats are there, front and center, but the padding there, and then. But Scott Drew was doing that a ton. He was not happy with his team. Some really ugly turnovers. But, Tim, I thought for once we saw a K-State team that we had seen back in November, where they're just hot from three-point range. I say hot. They made 8, but they were 47% from three-point range. They're able to get to the hoop. It wasn't the best overall, like it wasn't the best defensive performance, but you felt like you got a truly a balanced effort from your best players. And, of course, Nate Johnson is just going off. Him along with P.J. Haggerty, they're the first 30-point-plus duo since Beasley and Walker back in the day.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, these games now are just so tough to analyze because, this is what you were hoping to kind of see. You were hoping for Nate Johnson to, not be scoring 30 every night. That seemed, but being a more consistent scoring threat, in addition to being a defensive force that he was kind of projected to be, which he has been at times. But I don't know. It was, at this point, maybe more frustrating than it was nice for them to be happy, even though the whole thing was kind of like a funeral for Jerome Tang. I was happy that the players were able to get another win. I don't know if they're going to get a chance to do that. I think Colorado is their last real shot at something like that, and I don't know where their mindset is. It wouldn't be good if I were them.
Are you thinking this team goes 0 for the rest of the year? Because they still have 2 home games, TCU, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you can absolutely argue that those are 2 teams that K-State should have beat earlier this year.
Sure.
You lost by 2 to TCU. You lost by 5 on the road at West Virginia.
I just think both of those teams have a lot more to play for. So I think that they're both still in the fringe NCAA tournament conversation. And I mean, if they can keep getting the guys play for pride, play for, highlight reel for their next school, maybe. But I will believe it when I see it.
Well, we also we'll talk about Saturday here in just a second, but Matthew Driscoll did have himself a pretty solid post-game press conference. I wanted to play just one clip from this, and this was Matthew Driscoll talking about the reason they won this game against Baylor was because of Jerome Tang.
About anything except continuing to do what Coach has set up the table to do. And I'm going to tell you guys this right now. On Sunday, when Coach told us the news, he shared with us something that's very, very important. And it's so true. And because of his leadership and because of what he did, that's why tonight transpired. And that's why everything came to fruition.
I love Matthew Driscoll. I think he is I love it when he's on the mic and stuff. I think he's a very entertaining coach. When we talked to him at Big 12 Media Days, he was very entertaining. He was a lot of fun. And this is with all due respect, but I think K-State won on Tuesday because they were playing a down Baylor team.
Yeah.
Wasn't very good. Nate Johnson played with more freedom, it felt like, and he was just way better with the basketball, and I'd been begging for that for months. And I'm sure K-State was motivated from the coaching with Tang being fired.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of a perfect mix of a great, it was a very savory recipe of who you're playing next. That is an emotional game for everybody because of the coaching ties. And Driscoll talked about it, that these, he, Tang, and Scott Drew, that 2003 season, they took over the worst situation in college basketball history,
right,
and they turned it around together. And Tang was obviously there for a lot longer than Driscoll. But after watching what happened at Texas Tech, like the Driscoll effect / motivation from the firing, / just playing with their talent, it lived for one game. And then they go on the road to Lubbock, and it wasn't, that didn't last very long. Other than Nate Johnson getting K-State out to their first 5 points at the game. It was very good to start the game. He had 15 points.
Yeah, which is fine. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. You would like for there to be something that you can hang on to. There's just not. And at that point, and at this point, it's fine. I can't be angry about it anymore because the decisions have been made. This will be, for better or for worse, things will be different next year. It sucks to kind of just be like, this doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, that's just kind of what it is. It's just like, if they win, I hope they win. I do. I think that when you're losing and you're kind of stuck in that situation where Jerome Tang was still a head coach, there's part of you as a fan that is maybe rooting for them to lose, which is a terrible place to be. Terrible. Because you feel like you don't, maybe where some Cincinnati fans feel right now. You don't want to get stuck in a bad situation. Your brother is pulling it out over there.
Talk about my brother.
Your brother. Yes.
My doppelganger, Wes Miller.
Yes. But now I feel like, you could root for them to finish the year strong. And that's great. But if they don't do it, then just move on. It sucks that but that's what this team is. Like, they're not talented enough. Texas Tech, you remove their best player, one of the best players in the country, in JT Toppin. It's like nothing happened. So,
I mean, you removed Darren Peterson from the first KU game, and KU beats you by 20-something points. It's happened before this season where the best player from a good team, a great team, is not playing, and it feels like maybe that leveled the playing field. No, it certainly did not.
No.
You are not the better team, not even close to being the better team, or as on the same playing field as the other team, even without their best player. It's happened before.
and it's been a depth issue all year, even before the injuries happened. But especially, you don't have Abdi. I don't know if we'll see Abdi again.
Yeah, he was a game-time decision, according to the Big 12 availability report. He practiced last week, which is a good sign, because I love Abdi. Like, I because of the way this season is going, I forget, like, what's the eligibility left for some of these guys? Would it be possible to get a player like Abdi Bashir back, which you could? He's a junior. Like, if I really gravitated towards somebody that, honestly could be a leader, does their role at a pretty solid, does a great job in the role that they're in, which he's a three-point shooter, but he's clearly been a leader as he has been off the floor with his injury. I don't think I would mind a Abdi Bashir coming back for next season. He's probably, for those that could come back, I don't think PJ. I think he's off to the next level potentially. He's probably my pick, other than him or maybe David. But
David Castillo is my pick, just because it just feels like there's more, and plus I don't know. You had him from the beginning, and so there's more investment in that. But you take away David Castillo, Abdi would be. He has a positive presence and has been the whole year. Even, his defense isn't good. We've known that. We knew that before he even got here. But I feel like when he was healthy, he at least, he added what he was kind of displayed to be. He could have games like the Nebraska game where he just goes off and is a rocket or whatever. I wish him the best. I truly do. If whoever takes over, which we can go over some candidates here later, if they find a way to keep a couple of these guys, I'm not opposed to that. But it certainly seems like we'll be adding, about 8 or 9 more names into the former K-State players playing for other teams bracket.
Well, I love a 45% three-point shooter.
Yes.
I love Abdi Bashir is still the second best scorer on this team average-wise, even though he's been out for 4 weeks now. If he would have stayed healthy, there's a chance he makes 100 threes this year. He still has 14 more than the second best three-point shooter, and David Castillo has 53. Abdi Bashir was 67 this year. I think there's a role for him at a lot of places.
Yes.
I just think he likes it here.
He does.
I think he cares. I've seen more care out of him than a lot of guys, and David will be either next or the leader of that pack, but it's been those two.
Well, and it's telling.
It's a place you can build.
Exactly. It's telling that, whenever the coaches decided to go to hey, you're the players, you're going to make the scout, even though he wasn't responsible for the performances that led to that decision, he was a guy that coach brought in and had him help Nate Johnson. And they lost by 14, but they hung with Houston for parts of that game in Houston. So,
well, let's take a break. K-State at Colorado Wednesday, 8 o'clock pregame, tips off at 7. That'll be on 101.5 K-Rock. When we come back, Wildcats go 2-1 in Arlington, Texas. The start for the Wildcats. It's the best that's happened in over a decade and a half. That's coming up next here on the game, or Wildcat Insider, excuse me.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
Whether it's game day or a night out with great live music, Bottle Cap Sports Bar delivers the atmosphere you're looking for. It's Manhattan's go-to spot for catching every Wildcats or Chiefs game and enjoying live music that plays the songs you actually know. Come early for a good seat, great music, and cold drinks served up right. Stay in the loop. Check out their Facebook page for the full schedule of events. Bottle Caps, where the music's live, the game's always on, and the vibe is just right.
Bottle Cap Sports Bar located on West Anderson across from Dairy Queen.
At IHOP, age has its advantages. Introducing seniority gets priority. And yes, that means food. Monday through Friday from 1 to 5 p.m., buy 1 entree and 2 drinks, and boom, get a second entree on the house. Pancakes, omelets, comfort food classics, because you didn't come this far for a salad. Seniority gets priority at IHOP. Restrictions apply. Get all the details at IHOP in Manhattan or Junction City.
She was known as the most beautiful woman in the world, but she also invented technology for torpedo guidance during World War II. I developed that to help defeat Hitler. Her invention of frequency hopping spread spectrum technology is used now in so many of our wireless systems.
See Hetty, the life and inventions of Hetty Lamar at McCain Auditorium, February 27th at 7:30 p.m. Buy tickets online now.
Manhattan Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer. In order to widely publicize our job opportunities and outreach programs and organizations that regularly distribute information to job seekers or refers candidates to employers, please contact us about our employment contact list to receive the most current information about station vacancies. For more information or to be added to the list, please contact Manhattan Broadcasting Company at 785-776-1350. Visit us at 2414 Casement Road in Manhattan, Kansas, or email front desk at 1350kman.com.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event.
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
When you shop Goodwill, you don't just bring home a vintage dress or cat lamp. You bring home so much good to your community because everything you buy funds local job training and more. Goodwill, bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
He's been a broadcast journalist, political operative, and lobbyist. He's a columnist and author. Now, he's a radio talk show host. Within Reason with Mike Matson.
Manhattan floral designer Sarah Larson has been invited to something called the Philadelphia Flower Show, which has been around for almost as long as the country has. She's bringing some floral innovations with distinct Kansas connections. Tuesday.
Within Reason with Mike Matson on News Radio, KMAN.
I'm Gavin Hyatt with a Wildcat Insider Sports Update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. K-State men's fall big in Lubbock on Saturday, losing 100-72 to Texas Tech with their second game without Jerome Tang. PJ Haggerty led the way for the Cats, scoring 17 points, while Nate Johnson also poured in 15 points. Texas Tech, without their star JT Toppin, who suffered a torn ACL in the previous game's loss to Arizona State, saw all starters score in double figures. The Wildcats dropped to 11-16 on the season and 2-12 in Big 12 play. They'll travel to Colorado on Wednesday, tip at 8, pregame at 7 on 101.5 K-Rock and News Radio KMAN. Also on Saturday, K-State women's basketball played their second game of the Sunflower Showdown this year, falling once again 75-68 to Kansas and 15-14 on the season. Tess Heel scored a team-high 19 points, as well as Nashia Clausens and Brandy Harrod adding 13 points each. The Wildcats shot 21% from 3 on the game, while KU shot 54% from the field. A quick turnaround for the Wildcats as they'll face number 18 Baylor in Waco tonight, Tip at 6, pregame at 5:30 on News Radio KMAN on Sunny 102.5. Wildcat Insider up next on News Radio KMAN.
Wildcat Insider continues. Mitch Fortner, Tim Everson from the Manhattan Mercury. You also know him from PowerCat Game Day. Gavin Hyatt across the glass. Phone lines, text lines. Let's open those puppies up. That's the phone number of 785-537-1350. That's the same number you can call. You can text any questions or comments you have about the Cats. I do want to get to Tim's list of short list of coaching search wish lists. Obviously it's very, very, very early in the process, as in, nothing's going to really ramp up too much, at least, certainly behind the scenes right now, getting interest from coaches and agents right now about the open spot. We're not going to really learn who the next coach is here for a while, so, but we can talk a little wish list. We did get a text from the 817. Taj Manning isn't going anywhere since his brother is coming here to play football. It's a cousin, yes, but it is an interesting point. I forgot about that. Joshua Manning. But not, that doesn't guarantee that Taj, because, again, we mentioned in the last segment, Taj has done a pretty good job for himself, taking the reins of the opportunity that was handed to him, injuries and whatnot adding up. I wouldn't call him necessarily a Big 12 caliber type of player, but he's done well enough, handful of double-digit games scoring. He is a competitor. He's going to fight hard for those rebounds. Like, he is showing a ton of effort that there's some teams out there that might give him a little bit of cash.
Absolutely.
To go elsewhere. So I don't know what his interest is. I've never personally talked to him about it. I'm just saying, though, there will be some opportunities out there for Taj to go elsewhere. So
look, if I'm Mark Turgeon and I'm taking over UMKC,
yeah,
I would love to have a guy like Taj Manning as a starter for my first year. If Taj were wanting to leave, that would be great to kind of build around a guy like that. But I hope he stays, because you just want to have guys that are, homegrown, homebred over multiple years. That just doesn't happen anymore. At least at K-State, it hasn't happened. And if you can hang on to a couple guys, plus having a guy that was recruited by Bruce, spent time with Tang, and then was with whoever takes over, that would be kind of funny to just bridge all that gap.
Let's go to K-State baseball. K-State is 6-1. That's their first 6-1 start since the 2010 season. That was a regional team. Mm-hmm. Now, this last weekend, K-State goes 2-1 in Arlington, Texas at the M&G Bank College Baseball Series. They lose to number 9 Auburn 5-1. They beat Nebraska 5-3, and they beat Michigan 10-3. First takeaway was that the K-State offense wasn't necessarily recently textbook K-State offense. Their output this year in Arlington compared to last year in Arlington was different. Mm-hmm. First of all, they didn't sweep the competition. Also, it wasn't all against top 25 teams, but they had one game against the top 25 opponents. K-State was really held in check against Auburn. I mean, their starter, Jake Marciano, was the real deal. Now, I will say, for somebody that didn't watch a single second of K-State baseball this weekend, because I will not give a single dime to Flow Sports.
No, sir.
Screw those guys.
Yep.
They are an issue in this business. I could go on. I mean, at the high school level, they are taking something great like track wrestling, for example, and they have kind of monopolized, and they're buying up other companies to be tracking high school wrestling, and they've made trying to track high school wrestling way worse.
Way harder.
It is awful.
Yep.
What they use, their websites, they are awful. They are just so poorly made, little effort, like just chump change compared to the competitors, but they bought them up.
They did.
So anyway,
it's a shame.
I hate Flow Sports with a passion. I will not give them a single dime. Sorry, K-State. Baseball, I love you to death. But listening to Brian Smoller is also an honor. So I'll listen to Brian all day long.
The best.
K-State at the plate, though, it sounded like they were letting go a lot of borderline pitches. They struck out 9 times, didn't walk a single time, and K-State puts emphasis on trying to draw walks. Mm-hmm. That's why their on-base percentage is so gosh darn good. That's why they're one of the best in the nation at getting on base. Look, batting average this day and age of college baseball, as I had it explained to me before the season started, it's not really a whole lot about batting average anymore. Like, that's kind of a thing of the past. Coaches want to know what your on-base percentage, what your slugging is, on-base plus slugging, things like that. Like, what are those numbers telling me? Yep. Are you getting on base? It's Moneyball type of stuff. And, D. Kennedy, Carlos Vasquez, a transfer from Western Kentucky,
Stud.
a Lawrence Kansas native. And AJ Vasco, these guys have been absolute studs. They're all hitting over 400, but held in check against Auburn. Really offensively wasn't great either against Nebraska. That's where the walks came into play.
Right.
And then they finally got back into a normal-looking K-State offense by putting together a string of hits. Home run ball was starting to fly. They had 2 against Michigan, and that seemed to get back to normal. So despite K-State's offense not having the best weekend, still winning 2 games against all very quality opponents. These are all regional teams most likely that they played this weekend. K-State came through with 2 wins. That was a very, very good weekend for K-State.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, starting 6-1 is not a joke, especially with the teams that K-State has played, all recognizable names, even though only one is top 25. Those will come back as valuable opponents on your resume when regional time comes around. Look, it just feels like they're just kind of building up steam a little bit, getting some things together. Pitching is been up and down a little bit, but that's also kind of to be expected. I don't know. I am encouraged. I'm not like blown away like we've kind of been like after the start last year. I was like, oh wow, and then beating 3 top 25 teams, that's insane.
But that team still started 4-5.
That's true.
A tougher non-conference. I think that's fair because they also went to Chapel Hill during that opening stretch. K-State going to be home this weekend, by the way, against Columbia. 2 games against Louisiana starting tomorrow. But you brought up pitching. Even maybe statistically across the board, this wouldn't say this, but I thought pitching took a step forward.
Okay.
In Arlington, Texas. One name I look at right away is James Guyette, who in the opener last week, in an opening day, struggled with his command early. He did get into a groove, but he was a bit rough early, and I think that's kind of still showing. He had to grind through some few things against Auburn, that's for sure. But he got a quality start. I don't want that to be forgotten. James Guyette had a quality start against the number 9 team in the country. 6 innings, giving up 2 runs. He struck out 4, did walk a couple of batters. But the 2 runs allowed, those were all earned through 102 pitches. Like, he really grinded to put K-State in a really good spot offensively to try to take this game over. Yeah. The offense never just got going because Auburn's pitching is the reason they're a top 10 team.
Real deal, yeah.
Going to the Nebraska game, Carson Liggett is the real deal. Like, I don't know what it's going to take, but man, I want this guy to be a weekend starter so bad because he is eating up offenses right now. He threw 4 1/3 against Nebraska, didn't give up a run. He has now pitched almost 9 full innings, and he's yet to give up a run. Only 1 hit against him. He struck out 3, just walked a batter, a lot of ground ball flyouts. But he only threw 51 pitches in those nearly 5 innings. Like, was at times making some really quick work. Like, this is back-to-back appearances on a Saturday, and is just dominated.
Yeah.
Like, it's the best I've seen since Jordan Wicks. And this has just been 2 outings for him. So, I don't know what it's going to take for him to be a Friday or Saturday guy. I think he'd be maybe a Saturday guy because it looks like James Guyette's going to be the Friday guy for the foreseeable future. And then on Sunday, Lincoln Sheffield giving up 4 earned, but 6 runs total. That's where the defense just kind of struggled. If there's one takeaway that I did not like, I didn't think defensively K-State had a great weekend in the field.
No.
A lot of mistakes. Not everything added up to being an error on the board. But allowing too many free base runners because of some mistakes.
And that was something that Pete Hughes pointed out before the season started as one place that we got to be better than we were last year was defensively, eliminating those errors, keeping those free runners off the bases. That's got to keep getting better, or else they're going to get themselves into some trouble versus some really, really good Big 12 teams.
It wasn't the highest strikeout to walk rate for K-State baseball. They did a really good job, and they didn't walk anybody in the Michigan game. 2 total strikeouts, but Cohen Feezer I thought was really good. He goes 2 1/3 after Lincoln Sheffield comes in to start the game, and he records 9 outs and 37 pitches. That's pretty good work, and he had to grind through a couple of things as well, including that 8th inning rather, to shut the door on Michigan. Wanted to get to a couple other notes here. I mentioned Carlos Vasquez. He was maybe my favorite player of the weekend, 5 for 11 with 5 RBIs. He had a home run. D. Kennedy still very solid. He had 3 hits, but he got a couple of walks, home runs. He scored 4 runs. The K-State bullpen and a couple of guys that I did bring up in Cohen Feezer and Carson Liggett, we didn't see a ton of pitching this weekend. Just 2 pitchers on Sunday yesterday. But right now, K-State's bullpen ERA is 2.48.
That'll do it.
That is very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Very exciting. That's a fantastic start. And then one more thing I'm going to bring up is in the Michigan game. I saw a replay being retweeted with the hashtag SCTop10. And it was Shintaro Inoue, who was heading to second base. The ruling is it was a bang-bang play. He got tagged out. Gets punched out by the second base ump, and immediately Shin is like, let's review this thing. He's slapping the sides of the helmet. Let's review this. They do. It was some acrobatic stuff because he was sliding on his right side towards second. Here comes the swipe. He starts leaning to the right, so starting to put his belly onto the dirt, and he swings his left leg around, comes back with the lower leg to stop himself with his right foot to come on base while he's leaning out of the way. It is one of the sickest, most beautiful slides I have ever seen.
So cool. The video is K-State Baseball posted the video. Go look at it if you haven't seen it, because it is incredible the way that he gets out of the way.
To avoid that tag, because the second, or whoever it was for Michigan at second, was coming down for the tag. It was very routine-looking slide. It was a great throw. Here he comes, and anybody else is probably out.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it probably was the right call if he makes contact with Shintaro, but he didn't. Shin did an incredible job of getting out of the way of that tag and still getting a foot on that bag without really coming away from the base path really at all.
Crazy play.
That might still stand as the play of the season. That's not a hit.
Yeah.
Or a home run. That was an incredible play. K-State baseball 6-1. Now here's a big deal that you need to know about this weekend is they're going to Louisiana. Louisiana was a losing record last year. They just got done though sweeping Maryland out of the Big Ten. Again, difference from teams that can practice outside, really outside all year round for the most part. Although they did get a little bit of snow here not long ago there in Louisiana, that ice storm or whatever. But they're playing outside. And Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns have one of the best. It's a very underrated baseball atmosphere. If you look up all their facilities, their baseball stadium is by far their best stadium, their best facility. So the Raging Cajuns, they really love their baseball. They're in Lafayette, Louisiana. Which, by the way, I was doing a little research on Lafayette, Louisiana today, just kind of fell down a rabbit hole. Apparently, 2% of the population is millionaires.
Oh.
And a lot of tech companies have headquarters
in Lafayette.
In Lafayette, Louisiana. It's like the Palo Alto of Louisiana.
I did not know that.
So there's a lot of money down there. So I can see where the baseball for the facilities it's coming from, because it's all really nice. They got a nice size ballpark. I think it's bigger than K-State's. So, but that's this weekend. It's this week. Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 o'clock first pitch. Now, tomorrow, that broadcast with Brian Smoller at Louisiana is going to be online only. Because we're going to have Manhattan Hoops on air. We're having them on air because they're both playing for league championships at Emporia. So, wish the Indians the best of luck. We will have K-State baseball on air Wednesday. Again, 5:30 pregame, first pitch 6 o'clock, and then the home opener Friday, Columbia, 3-game series starts Friday, 4 o'clock first pitch. Pregame coverage will be at 3:30.
Should be nice.
Yes, 70s?
Yeah, 60s, 70s, I think.
60s, 70s, all right. I think we're going to, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We're going to have our best year of weather for the Wildcats yet. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, we'll quickly look at Tim's list of coaching candidate wish list, and last week in the Big 12 after these words on Wildcat Insider.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
If you've missed the Kim Commando Show, you've missed a lot.
But you're getting scammed. Scammers will take money from anyone. Doesn't matter how young, how old you are, how rich, how poor.
Short, tall, fat, skinny.
As soon as she went to WhatsApp, we both looked at each other and going, yeah, ugh. Has anyone asked you to go to Telegram or WhatsApp? That tells you it's a scam.
America's digital goddess.
Kim Commando. Kim Commando. Saturday mornings at 9 on News Radio, KMAN.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
James was diagnosed at 3 months old with neuroblastoma. We went from thinking we had a healthy 3-month-old little boy, all of a sudden he had this super serious cancer. It was heartbreaking. He had chemotherapy until he was just under a year old, and at that point he was in remission.
Went that way for a year and then relapsed February of 2023, and here we are 1 year later, finishing up treatment, hopefully.
The research is extremely important. The treatments that they're developing here get shared with all the doctors to help treat children worldwide.
It's contributing something like one more piece of the puzzle to curing this horrible disease. We all want the same thing. We all want our children to live, have long, meaningful lives.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
News Radio, KMAN, weather.
Currently in Manhattan, sunny skies and 42 degrees with light winds to the south around 9 miles an hour. Partly cloudy with a low of around 28 tonight, with those winds gusting as high as 20 miles an hour to the south. On Tuesday, partly sunny and bumping all the way up to a high near 65, with those winds still gusting as high as around 25 miles an hour to the southwest. Mostly cloudy with a low of around 33 on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, a high near 61.
All right, we're back on Wildcat Insider. We got PTI on the TV here. No drum tank segments today. Pretty quiet end of last week and into this week. The national heat, as we all thought it would, has now died down. And even Tom Mars, that wasn't a good result for Tom Mars Saturday in Lubbock. He's the attorney for
no
Jerome
tweets.
Tang.
No tweets about that post game.
No, only one tweet over the weekend is that he has a new flag for his boat, and it's a Trinidad and Tobago flag because apparently with Trinidad Chambliss, this started this past season where Ole Miss fans started buying Trinidad and Tobago flags because of Trinidad Chambliss, who's from Michigan.
It all makes sense. It all makes
just
sense.
A name. Just the relation there, just in the name of Trinidad Chambliss, and I know I read somewhere that he was named after Felix Trinidad, who's a former, I think he's a former boxer.
Okay, all right, I did not know that.
Again, I don't think there's any ties to him in Trinidad and Tobago other than his name, which is a Spanish word for what?
Oh, I have no idea.
Trinity.
Oh,
it's like a Holy Trinity thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that does make sense.
You put together a list here of coaching candidates' wish list.
Yeah, and look, if you've read, us at the Mercury have done a hot board. Kels Robinette of the Eagle, Wyatt Wheeler of the Capital Journal, both On 3 and 247. Everyone has taken a crack at this, a bunch of the national people. A lot of the same names on all of them. You're not going to find something too different with what I'm going to put forward. There's just not a great list of like last year. It felt like there were just so many candidates that were exciting. It's not as much this year, but that doesn't really mean that is gonna portend to anything. I'll start with my number one guy is a guy that I don't think the K-State is going to get. Josh Schertz.
Yeah.
At St. Louis.
He's the big one.
We're not gonna spend too much time on it because I don't think it's gonna happen. But they are having a killer season. The Billikens are. He's a guy that's had success at multiple levels. That's kind of a theme with the guys that I have. We'll move on to.
Well, real quick though, I'll throw this out there
Yes.
that I think something else to pay attention to is how many jobs come open.
Yes.
As well at the power level, because I think Syracuse is going to be one of those jobs. I don't know if Josh Schertz his dream is to coach in New York State. He's a Brooklyn guy. Syracuse is a ways away from New York City, but Jared Calhoun is one of those as well.
And that is my second name of a guy that is attractive. For sure, and maybe even more gettable now considering Cincinnati's kind of a recent bump.
We'll see.
If they don't fire Wes Miller, Jared Calhoun, a guy who played at Cincinnati, played for Bob Huggins, coached as a student assistant under Bob Huggins, both at Cincinnati and then was an assistant under him at West Virginia. So Bob will tell Jared how nice of a time that he had in Manhattan in his 1 year here. Guy that did it at the Division II level really well, was in NCAA Division II runner-up in 2016-17 for Fairmont State, jumped up to Youngstown State, didn't do much there, but since he's gotten to Utah State these past couple years, has really, really killed it. Really, really highly thought of. A guy that I'd be thrilled with what's available for K-State if they were able to land Jared Calhoun. So he is one. Another name that gets brought up a lot, Eric Olin.
Yes.
With
I like him.
With New Mexico, I like him too. A guy that helped transition UC San Diego from the Division II to Division I. A guy that got UC San Diego to their first NCAA tournament in 24-25 and is well on their way to getting New Mexico to the NCAA tournament this year, maybe on his way to winning perhaps the Mountain West as well. Again, it's not like super, super sexy, super attractive. Lots of people have won at New Mexico. But another one that I wouldn't be sad about. Last one, my third one.
Good.
I guess third, and then I have a fourth one that if all those fall through, I'm okay.
You got about a minute.
I got about a minute. All right. Chris Jans. Now look.
Oh.
Now look. I understand. I get it.
I can't wait to hear this pitch.
I get it. It is not super attractive, and they are 13-13 this year. K-State beat them fairly soundly in Kansas City this year. Doesn't help his case. But before that, 3 straight NCAA tournaments with Mississippi State. He took New Mexico State to 4 NCAA tournaments in 5 seasons. He was an assistant at Wichita State. He had a lot of success in the community college space. There is the one downside. He was fired with cause from Bowling Green for an incident where he got drunk and video was taken of what Wikipedia says engaging in lewd and inappropriate behavior towards women at a bar near campus. That's not great, but that was more than a decade ago now. He's a guy who knows how to win and a guy who knows how to win in the state of Kansas. I wouldn't hate that.
I just think if you're K-State, you can't really go in the direction of hiring somebody else that's been fired for cause before, after you just fired somebody for cause and trying to get out of this 18.7.
I get that. I get that. Last one real quick.
Go ahead.
John Gross at Akron. I understand that he is a fired Illinois coach. I do get that. But at Akron, he has made 3 NCAA tournaments in the last 4 years. He's well thought of. He did really well at Ohio before he got the Illinois job. There's just not a lot of good options, guys. I'm sorry. But those are my favorites.
Short hour 2 of Wildcat Insider is coming up next.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Dollars spent locally today help build a better community for tomorrow.
D&I Plumbing, Heating, and Air will provide honest and quality service when you need it most. From a leaky faucet to replacing your water heater. Trust the experts at D&I Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Your York and other makes and models local dealer. Call 537-7138 today.
Turn your memories into a masterpiece at Candlewood Frame Shop. Whether it's framing your favorite pictures floating around in the digital cloud or creating a shadow box with cherished things or memorable events. Candlewood Frame Shop. Let them turn your stories into a masterpiece.
For a once-in-a-lifetime experience, engagement ring shopping simply can't be duplicated on a computer screen. At Fifely Jewelers, you'll be pleasantly surprised by our pricing compared to buying online, and we offer financing. Plus, you'll have peace of mind by shopping locally with Fifely Jewelers.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Find more great local businesses plus special deals and offers when you keep it local on our website.
Chris Mack here to help you beat the books with Westwood One Sports, a massive game in the Big 12 on Big Monday tonight. The reeling Houston Cougars head to Kansas as 2.5-point favorites. The Jayhawks trying to bounce back from a meltdown Saturday against Cincinnati. We have no idea how long Darren Peterson may actually be on the floor for Kansas, so I'm going with Houston to get back on track and avoid their first 3-game losing streak in 9 years. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
KS State Bank offers convenient services to help make life a little easier. Visit ksstate.bank to learn more. KS State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. KMAN, Manhattan. News Radio KMAN weather.
Sunny skies and 41 degrees currently in Manhattan, with those light winds to the south around 9 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of around 28, with those winds gusting 5 to 10 miles an hour to the south and gusting as high as 20 miles an hour. Partly sunny and looking to warm up a little bit with a high near 65 on Tuesday, with those winds gusting as high as 25 miles an hour still to the southwest. On Tuesday night, mostly cloudy with a low of around 33.
KMAN Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452. Wildcat Insider continues. Mitch Fortner, Tim Everson, and Gavin Hyatt as we get connected with Wyatt here in just a moment. Last week in the Big 12, big win for Iowa State beating Houston 70-67. Cyclones closed the game on a 17-4 run. Arizona State beating Texas Tech. That was the game that JT Toppin blew out his ACL in the second half. They did lose that game to the Sun Devils 72-67. A couple of other notable games in men's college basketball for the Big 12. Number 4 Arizona beating BYU 75-68. Arizona then going on the road to beat number 2 Houston 73-66. BYU comes back to beat Iowa State 79-69. All right, so taking a look at the Big 12 standings on the men's side. Arizona with a game lead over Houston. Arizona 12-2, Houston 11-3, and then you got a tie between 3 teams for third place. Iowa State, KU, Texas Tech at a record of 10-4. Everybody else pretty much out of it. So right now it's a 5-horse race, in my opinion, on who could win the Big 12. So coming down to the wire there. And how about this weekend, Sunday? College game day going to be at a women's game.
Yeah.
It'll be TCU Baylor, a top 20 matchup, which will probably determine who wins the Big 12 that night.
That's big, yeah, especially what TCU blew out Baylor at home whenever they played not too long ago.
I
believe.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. All right, we ready to go? All right, we got the voice of the Cats, Wyatt Thompson, with us. Wyatt, we were just talking about the Big 12 men's basketball standings. For the Big 12 title, would you take Arizona or the field for the Big 12 championship?
Probably after the weekend, I would say Arizona. I just think they're really, really good. And not that they haven't been all year long, but I think after they lost those back-to-back games, everybody thought they were going to slip and just, continue to slide a little bit farther and a little bit farther. And I don't know if you got a chance to see the Arizona at Houston game. They jumped on the Cougars early. I think they exploited a strength in that they have against Houston with the big boys inside, in particular Mo Krivas and Tobe Awaka. Hit shots. Anthony Del Orso was awesome. I think he had 22 or something like that. I love their size. I love their depth. And think about it this way. They won at Houston and were minus Koa Pete and Dwayne Aristote. Those are 2 of their high-level Big 3 freshmen. So I got to tip my cap to those guys. I think they're the best team in the league right now.
Here on the show, this topic I'm going to ask you about, we haven't had enough time to talk about this. I'd like to talk about it more, but I think you'd be a great person to get your opinion on the what KU is dealing with Darren Peterson, of him subbing himself out. It's every game. Is he going to be available or is he not? Apparently dealing with cramps these days. I mean, if you were a KU fan, are you really frustrated with Darren Peterson?
100%. I think everybody is, and I would even tell you that I think Coach Self has tried really, really hard to handle this in, somewhat of a I guess I'll call it a delicate way, but I think you can start to hear in his comments some of the frustration and see in his face. You go back and look when he asked out the other day. He immediately, it happened right in front of the KU bench, and Self just turned and, pointed to somebody on the bench, and boom, immediately they go to the scorer's table. So I don't know, and I'm just being honest, I'm not trying to run anybody down at all, but I don't know that I've ever seen a player like that dictate quite like he has multiple times in asking or opting out of the ball game. I don't remember it. Do you? I just can't think of one that's anywhere in the hemisphere of this.
But he's so good, and every mock draft still has him as like the number one pick in the draft. I don't know, if you're an NBA team, are you asking him right at the gate, why are you not playing a full season? Is it because either you're full of crap or you really are having a lot of injury issues?
It's a great question, and I don't know what the proper answer is. The NBA, I learned this a long time ago, they look at things and players, and specifically different than most people around, meaning they look and project farther down the road of what this guy is going to be, especially the ones that come out early as a one-and-done like this. What can he be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? I think we see what we see and say this is a generational talent. You've heard all coaches around the Big 12 say that about DeBonsa, about the kid at Kansas. It's just, but at the end of the day, I guess I would say this: if you are going to select him in the top couple of 2 or 3, and you have any concerns at all about what's going on here, you have to ask, don't you? Whether the answer is, well, my handlers are, kind of running this, or I'm maybe I'm having a hard time thinking that, that this is hamstring issues alone. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I have no idea. If I was covering this day in and day out, it would be a day in and day out. What's the status of Darren Peterson? You never know when he's going to show up on the list or if he's going to play. But, KU, even without him at times, has played some very good basketball. Did Cincinnati beating KU and Allen Fieldhouse, first of all, a huge surprise. Is that something that saves Wes Miller's job? Is he going to stick around because of that win?
I think it's highly likely now. It's really interesting when you look. If you go back, and I don't know if you saw this, I saw it on social media, after they lost a home game here recently, there was a video of him walking into a bunch of donors and saying, this is not, and I'm paraphrasing, this is not good enough. This is on me. We'll get this straightened out, figured out, whatever you want to say. And they've been cooking since. That game was really tight Saturday, and it was going on as the same time as our game. And Stan had it on one of his 1,000 iPads, and it was like a 2-point game. And I looked over when we went to break, and they're up like 15. And I haven't had a chance to watch it back yet, but whatever they did to separate, they did it in a big way, in a big hurry. And that's they don't get lathered up like that at Lawrence, at Allen Fieldhouse very often now. So
no.
Give Cincinnati some credit. And when Cincy was here, we talked about this. They had underachieved. If you look at their skill, they have really good talent. They may not be the world's best shooting team. Here they made shots. In Lawrence, they made shots. On a given night, when they make shots, they can hang with anybody, I think, because they've got size, they've got pretty good depth, and those 3 guards are really good.
Wyatt Thompson, our guest, the voice of the Wildcats. Now, K-State played on Saturday in Lubbock. Do I have this right? K-State has lost 11 in a row in Lubbock?
Yeah, and it's really become my least favorite place to go in the league because of that. You don't really, and we didn't make a real big deal out of it because, you want to stay as positive as you can in what has been a pretty negative season, but there were other storylines that I thought were more important than that, so I didn't make a real big deal out of it. And I heard your report this morning driving to work, and I thought you were all over it in that, this game was decided by a big margin on the boards again by Tech, and the fact that they made whatever it was, 13 threes. Atwell was incredible in the first half, and they were pretty good all the way along. 5 guys in double figures, and that's without Toppin. You can say what you want about K-State's effort and their play, but I thought Tech played pretty well, too. I'm going to give them some credit.
Matthew Driscoll now 1-1 on the year. As an interim head coach, Colorado is in 2 days in Boulder. I'll be honest with you, Wyatt. Colorado's one of – they're really the only team in the Big 12 that I really don't know a thing about. They weren't attractive at the beginning of the year, wasn't expecting anything big from Tad Boyle's crew, and now they currently sit at 15-12. They're 5-9 in the Big 12. But what can you fill us in about Colorado on Wednesday?
I would say the thing that I could say first and foremost that might surprise everybody in this day and age of major college basketball, they have 7 freshmen, true freshmen, on their roster. Think about that for a moment. Jalen Holland, Isaiah Johnson, Alon McKaylee, Josiah Sanders, Felix Caceres, Fawazi Fowler, all of those guys, and Ian Inman are all true freshmen. And the truth is they're playing pretty well. Isaiah Johnson, as an example, is their leading scorer. He's a 6'1", 170-pound guard from L.A., and I've got on my chart here that he has 24 double-digit games in 27 games and has scored 20 or more 7 times. And I think he is either 5th or 6th in the Big 12 in freshman scoring. And including being ahead of Koa Pete, okay? And so I think you follow the league close enough to know what kind of statement that is in this league this year, because this league is crazy good with freshmen.
Wyatt, before I let you go, we were talking some K-State baseball earlier. What a great start they're off to, 6-1. They're not ranked, but they're receiving votes right now. They're 36th in the nation according to the coaches' poll. I don't know if you have any thoughts on the Wildcats so far, but I wanted to ask you as a baseball guy. We were talking about K-State's offense earlier, and I've been told in recent years, like, if it's a manager or, just baseball fans, when it comes to offense, we don't really watch batting average anymore. That's not really the story of batting anymore. Right? Is that the case to you? Are you watching other stats like slugging and on base and things like that? Those matter most than just batting average?
Well, batting average matters. I don't want to downplay it, but anymore there are, a lot of other things that people look at. This is an era where they're looking at so many analytical numbers that it can boggle your mind. But at the end of the day, they are scoring runs. They are putting hits and decent games together where they score, like what's the old saying, crooked numbers in innings, meaning multiple runs in multiple innings. They've beaten up on the Big Ten, that's for darn sure. But you have to be impressed with, or at least I believe you do, with a 6-1 record at this particular point in relation to the schedule in which they've played. After they lost that game Friday night to Auburn, I was on the road with Casey Scott, and he loves baseball like I do, and he says, man, they've got to go get those 2 games Saturday and Sunday, and I'll be darned if they didn't do it. And they've done it with a little bit of everybody, just kind of, how about Lincoln Sheffield again, man? He had a nice game, to be honest with you. They're hitting the ball pretty well, and it's some of the guys that you think about, right? But they've got a couple of new guys that have helped a lot, too, and I just like their team. I can't wait to see them in person, honestly.
Well, that's coming up on Friday, 4 o'clock, Toyton Family Stadium, pregame coverage at 3:30. That'll be heard right here on KMAN. Plus, of course, tomorrow and Wednesday at Louisiana. With that, Wyatt, I'll let you go and safe travels out to Boulder, Colorado, and we'll see you here very soon. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. First game we've played in Boulder since 2011.
Yeah.
You know that? That's crazy.
I probably could have guessed. I don't think they played there last year, so
right.
It's pretty cool out there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. They're a pretty talented team, though. I mean, 15-9 for them after being picked 15th in the league is pretty good. So another hard game. We'll see what happens.
All right, appreciate it, Wyatt. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
It's Voice of the Cats, Wyatt Thompson joining us here on Wildcat Insider. Let's take our last break. We'll wrap it up when we come back with K-State women's basketball coming up at 5:30 here on KMAN.
You're listening to Wildcat Insider.
At IHOP, age has its advantages. Introducing seniority gets priority. And yes, that means food. Monday through Friday from 1 to 5 p.m., buy 1 entree and 2 drinks, and boom, get a second entree on the house. Pancakes, omelets, comfort food classics, because you didn't come this far for a salad. Seniority gets priority at IHOP. Restrictions apply. Get all the details at IHOP in Manhattan or Junction City.
Midstate Mechanical, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, can get your furnace winter ready with their complete HVAC system check and service. Midstate Mechanical will give you the peace of mind that your furnace is operating safely, efficiently, and properly to give you the warmth your family deserves. Not sure your system will make it through the winter? Midstate Mechanical can help. They use the most reliable brand, American Standard. Midstate Mechanical, your American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, providing quality service for over 30 years.
At ESB Financial, we think it makes sense to pay you. That's right, get paid 5.04% annual percentage yield on balances up to $20,000 with our free Kasasa Cash checking account. We'll even refund your ATM fees nationwide, and the best part is there's no monthly service charges or minimum balances to keep. All you have to do to earn your rewards are a few simple things each month. The best part? These things make banking easier. Visit esbfinancial.com to learn more. Special terms may apply. ESB Financial, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
She was known as the most beautiful woman in the world, but she also invented technology for torpedo guidance during World War II.
You know, I developed that to help defeat Hitler.
Her invention of frequency hopping spread spectrum technology is used now in so many of our wireless systems.
See Hetty, the life and inventions of Hetty Lamar at McCain Auditorium, February 27th at 7:30 p.m. Buy tickets online now.
The Ramsey Show.
But I hear it all the time. Jade, this system is set up for people like us to fail. There are obstacles to overcome for anybody. For anybody. There's sexism, there's racism, there's ageism, there's all these things, but you're more limited by your own mindset than you are limited by anything systemic. You can't blame your way to a better life. You can build your way to a better life. You can believe your way. You can behave your way. You cannot blame your way.
Life and money advice. The Ramsey Show. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on News Radio KMAN. News Radio KMAN. Weather.
41 degrees and sunny skies right now in Manhattan with light winds around 9 miles an hour to the south. Partly cloudy with a low of around 28 tonight, with those winds gusting around 5 to 10 miles an hour to the south and getting as high as 20 miles an hour. Partly sunny with a high near 65 on Tuesday, with those winds gusting around 5 to 10 miles an hour to the southwest and getting as high as 25 miles an hour. On Tuesday night, a low of around 33.
Well, it doesn't feel like summertime out there today, but
no.
This weekend at Toyton should be kind of nice. I'm gonna pull that up here real quick because I'm curious to see. I'm not going to be there for opening day, but I will be there Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, Friday a high of 70, 58 on Saturday, and it looks like there's a chance of rain on Sunday with a high of 44. So,
well, dang.
Friday is going to be great. Saturday and Sunday it's going to be a little chilly, but you know what? I mean, I've been to opening days. I've been to games in February and in March that it's 38 degrees and it's really windy. It's like miserable conditions. The game takes forever. Nobody's there. Yeah. Baseball in our area can be a little bit brutal when you start the season in February. All right, we're back on Wildcat Insider. We got a couple of more moments here. Reminder, Wildcats playing 5 games this week. They'll be at Louisiana playing the Raging Cajuns at Rousseau Park in Lafayette, where the Raging Cajuns are 5-2 on the season. They're 4-2 at home, and they're coming off a sweep over the Big Ten's Maryland. I don't know if Maryland's any good at baseball, but they did play 15 innings yesterday. And Louisiana won 6-5. And I've been told the games at Russo Park are a lot of fun. That's a great baseball environment there for the Raging Cajuns. So that's tomorrow at 6, pregame at 5:30. That's going to be an online-only broadcast. On air, we're going to be having Manhattan Hoops as both teams are playing for league championships. And then another game Wednesday, pregame 5:30, first pitch at 6 o'clock. That will be on air. And then this weekend, very excited for K-State baseball to open up play at Toyton Family Stadium as they take on the Lions of Columbia out of the Ivy League. So you're going from playing in Lafayette, Louisiana, to playing a team at home against from New York City.
Yeah.
And I'm sure these are two universities that are completely the same. But anyway, opening day's at 4 o'clock on Friday. Pregame coverage will be at 3:30, so we won't have a show on Friday. But Columbia has started the season 0-3. They went down to Macon, Georgia, and lost 3 to Mercer, and they weren't very competitive. The Sunday game was decided by 1 run. They lost by 14 on Saturday, and they lost by 6 on Friday. But first pitch on Friday is at 4 o'clock, 1 o'clock on Saturday, and then 11 o'clock a.m. on Sunday. So that game will also start. The Sunday game will start online at newsradiokman.com. All right, let's take a look at this week in the Big 12. Well, tonight, Tim, we got a game that doesn't have as much hype as it should be because of upsets, including KU losing to Cincinnati at home. But apparently the student body there in Lawrence showing up to get their tickets, get their spots for this Houston game, and Bill Self came out to talk to the students. Look, guys, sometimes this happens. It is what it is. It stings, but it's all about getting back out there for the next one. Real coach talk. That's tonight, 8 o'clock. Big Monday, number 5 Houston, number 14 Kansas, Allen Fieldhouse.
That'll be fun, yeah.
I don't know if Darren Peterson's playing. I don't know. I don't have that answer. Doesn't matter what the availability report says. We don't know. I think he'll play. But does he sub himself out? Bill Self has thrown challenges at Darren Peterson out here lately. And I think somewhat responded. He played a lot against Cincinnati, but he had 16, 17 points.
He's starting to get a little defensive. He threw really some statements that was like, hey, man, I'm trying, okay? I am actually hurt, which, okay.
I don't believe you. Darren, I don't believe you that you're hurt.
It's a tough situation.
It's a weird string of issues.
Yeah.
And when you hit a 3 and then you tap Bill Self on the stomach or on the pectoral and say, I need to come out, I think you're trying to avoid it. It's not that you're injured. You're trying to avoid injury maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is exactly. I don't know what. It's so weird to me.
It's a national story.
Nobody knows. Only he knows.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people across college basketball, the NBA, all the media is like, this guy, what the hell is his deal?
Bill Simmons is talking about it, and he doesn't talk about college basketball at all.
By the way, the K-State women, they're coming up next. The Cats at number 14 Baylor. And we got pregame coverage coming up next. Tip-off at 6 o'clock from Waco, Texas. Thank you to Gavin. Thank you to Tim from the Manhattan Mercury. Mitch Fortner signing off. We'll be back for 1 hour tomorrow, 4 to 5 o'clock here on KMAN.
Getting you closer to the locker room than anyone else. This is Wildcat Insider. Wildcat Insider, an exclusive presentation of the flagship station of the K-State Sports Network. News Radio 1350, KMAN.